For those who don't know, could you tell us, who is Richard I. Fine?
He's an attorney who really, really believes in the rule of law above all other things.
And why should people know about him?
What he found is people who violate this law. And he's found that many times throughout his career. He's saved the taxpayers of Los Angeles close to $1 billion in finding misappropriated tax money and exposing that and returning it to the taxpayers.
What are the charges against him that require jail time?
Well, there aren't any that require jail time.
How are you involved with this case?
What it is Richard's in jail and he's defending himself pro per. He is his own lawyer, and you know the cliche always is the worst lawyer is when you defend yourself, right? But in any case, what he needs is basically someone to take his handwritten manuscripts done with a miniature golf course pencil and a notepad and take that in and transcribe it and put it in a legal format and actually file it. And of course these filings take a lot of money. So we have to do fundraising because I don't have any money. So we have to do some amount of fundraising. We have to do some amount of paralegal work.
What is coercive confinement?
Well, coercive incarceration is when they put you in to scare you into complying with what they want. Now, typically this is done to a journalist. A guy has information about something that the police don't have, and they say, "Where did you get that information?" He says, "I'm a journalist. I have to protect my sources." "You'll tell us." "No, I'm not going to tell you." They put you in jail. Sometimes overnight you change your mind. Sometimes over 2 nights you change your mind. When it gets to the 5th day, they have to either release you or give you a criminal charge. This is something that was established in 1974 in something called the Farr case.
So he's in solitary confinement. How large is his jail cell?
You can almost touch all 4 walls when you stand in the middle. It's 2 bunk beds. He sleeps on the bottom bunk. He uses the top bunk as his table. So he's a 70-year-old man. He writes a handwritten 50-page manuscript standing up with little tiny pencils, you know, and I mean it takes him all day and all night, and yeah, I mean he really works hard on it. And it's all he has to do in there. It's the place, you know, as long as a bed is and as wide as a bed is, that's where he is. And he hasn't been let out of there. He doesn't have an outdoor exercise time. He hasn't seen the sun in the sky since May 4th, 2009. That was the last time when they took him out and he saw the sky on the way in. That was the last time he saw. He doesn't have any exercise equipment. He doesn't have an exercise program. It's really been sadistic. I mean, this kind of thing can play with your mind.
What is the state of his health?
He's got some leg pain. He had a broken dental plate that the prison took 2 months to acknowledge that he had this thing. So his eating during that time was disturbed, to say the least. But he's got this leg condition and leg pain, and he's got the aches and pains of a 70-year-old man. I mean, when you don't exercise and you're laying on a stiff cot, and you know the stiffness and that kind of thing.
What has been the result of Dr. Fine's attempt to bring this matter to the Supreme Court?
Well, the matter is before the Supreme Court right now, and he had an application for an immediate release pending the outcome of the writ of certiorari that's on file there now. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court goes on summer vacation on April 30th. They don't come back until October. So what we had hoped is that they would honor the application for immediate release and at least let him out while we just wait for October so we can come in and find out what their ruling is on the writ of certiorari.
What can ordinary people do to help?
Well, ordinary people can do 2 things. Okay, the easy one, the first one is easy. Go to the website and donate some money. That's the easy thing that anybody can do. And they should, any amount. And you'd be amazed at the amounts and where they came from all over the country. People sending in small amounts of money from all over the East Coast and just all around the country. We've had a few from other countries. People send in small amounts. Some people send in large amounts. The other thing, you mentioned it earlier, I think yourself, and that is awareness. Everybody has to bring this to everyone they know. not just social network like Facebook or, you know, MySpace or anything like that, but when you meet a politician, ask him what he thinks about Richard I. Fine. You'll find that many of them, I don't know anything about it. That's an easy out for a politician. I don't know anything about it. And then, you know, then all of a sudden they're exempt from talking about it. But no, then tell them. You have to tell everybody. We have over 300 million people in this country. They all need to know about this. They all need to know. It's more important than the last episode of Lost or who's in the cash cab or who's dancing with the stars or anything like that.
How does Mr. Fine's situation reflect on the state of civil rights in this country?
This is your country. We're losing our country little by little. The Constitution is being ignored. It's being taken apart. That's your contract with America. Everybody has to know what's happening to Richard I. Fine, because what's happening to him is going to happen to you eventually.
If he can be released at any time by simply disclosing his personal financial information, why doesn't he?
Well, it's very simple. If he does that, he will be acquiescing. See, they can't ask him to do that. By law.
Fred, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
They say there's poison in the sun, but I don't believe